Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. We've got a very interesting show set up for you today, and I will definitely not be burying the lead on this one. This is not good. Now, I'm going to have to go ahead and get warmed up a little bit when I talk about all this stuff. Give me just a second. Allegedly. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this show. I think we got a whole lot of tampering going on.
Allegedly.
I think Colorado is heavy in the mix on this. Again, it's my opinion. And that Boo Carter has signed a new agent, or has a new agent, it appears. And I think that guy is probably working the phones.
Randy, you're breaking my balls here. You're breaking my balls, Randy.
If I had to guess. Let's get into this story. And this is going to change college football probably forever. And that's not an exaggeration at all. I told you folks yesterday that this could be the end of college football as we know it. And the reason being, the transfer portal, if this plays out the way I think it will be meaningless. Okay? When I say meaningless, the portal, it just, who cares? They'll be able to transfer the players, that is, anytime they want, pretty much, especially if school's not in session. So this spring portal means nothing. You can transfer anytime during the summer. You can transfer anytime during the season. There may be an issue as far as a school letting you in when it comes to being a student, but that'll be the only thing that holds it up. So I think we're this close to saying that the portal means nothing. This is a whole nother level to Wild Wild West that we think we've been in. Oh no. The Wild West would be tame compared to where this is headed. You're talking total free agency all the time.
Well, that's great. That's just great, man. Now what the are we supposed to do? Game over, man. It's game over.
This came out on CBS Sports, Boo Carter in limbo, altercation with teammates, agent change, and more drama. Here it talks about sources told CBS Sports there was an altercation on July 16 between Carter and teammates, and that Carter has not been with the team since. I am assuming they probably confronted him about not showing up for meetings or being late, and there was probably words between the folks, and it sounds like it got rough. And this is the type of thing that happens on football teams. I know people are like, oh my gosh, oh horror. Happens all the time, constantly. When I lived at Gibbs Hall, I saw two guys playing pool. And a buddy of mine, Gibby Gilbert, was playing pool with me. His dad actually finished second in the Masters, and Gibby's a heck of a golfer. Anyway, we're up there shooting pool. It was a linebacker and offensive lineman were shooting pool right next to us. The offensive lineman was doing this. He was talking crap the whole time, and you could tell it was starting to get tense. And the linebacker, who probably went about 230, and the offensive lineman, who was about 310, the linebacker just kept looking at him. He kept saying, keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. And you could feel that tension rising. And about 30 seconds later, that linebacker had the offensive lineman down on the ground, pushing his face in the carpet. And he must have said, while he was whooping up on him, just because you big don't mean shit. He must have said it 20 times while he was whooping him. And it also turned out the linebacker, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was a wrestler as well. And he was absolutely throwing that 300-pounder around like a rag doll. So this is not abnormal at all. And when they got done, the offensive lineman got up and his face was all rough and raw. He was like, yeah, he caught me off guard. And the linebacker's like, hey, we can go again. He's like, I ain't gonna fool with you. So this is, again, it happened all the time back in the day. So it sounds like he got called out, and I'm sure Boo didn't appreciate that. With his ego, that didn't probably sit well. So he's not been with the team since then. It says a program source with CBS source that Carter's absence is not a Nico Iamaleava situation, it has nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. The tension between the two sides stems from what Tennessee, its leadership councils, considered multiple team rules violations. Boo Carter's also obtained new representation, hiring Omar Cooper. Oh boy, that's never good. Folks, when somebody hires a new rep, that rep has no ties to the school you're currently at. So he's going to go out and do whatever he wants. And you're not going to have any connection at all. So that's significant. And it sounds like a very emotional decision was made. Probably after that altercation, he was like, I'll just go get myself a new rep and cut me a new deal. Just a guess anyway. Omar Cooper represents Ace Bailey, who was a buddy of Boo Carter's in Chattanooga. His former agent, Isaac Connor, highlighted the lack of clarity. He said, I did represent Boo, however, I'm not sure I still do. Connor wrote, he said, he has been non-responsive and so has his mother. They posted something about Omar Cooper representing him and advising him now. So they let their agent go and he didn't even know it. And when he tried to contact him, they just ghosted him, that's super professional there. So the fact that he's ghosting Tennessee should not surprise you in the slightest. There's a lot of ghosting going on right now. Sounds like nobody's responding. Heupel is scheduled to speak to the media July 29th. Folks, that's a Tuesday. So it sounds like this is going to get resolved at some point over the next few days. I got a bad feeling about this. Not only for Tennessee, Boo Carter, but all of college football, because I think this is the game changer that will forever change college football. It says, should the situation end up with Carter not returning to Tennessee, Colorado would be a school to watch. You think? I'm at about 95 to 99% chance if he leaves, he's going to Colorado. I don't think there's much doubt. He wants to be the next Travis Hunter, play both ways. Now, of course, he was going to do that here at Tennessee, but I think he probably thinks, well, Travis Hunter did it perfectly there, and he wound up being the first pick, so that could be me. And I'm sure Deion or Deion's people have there's bound to have been some communication, allegedly, between the folks there, and he probably knows he's got a spot. But how do you do that when you're not in the transfer portal and you're an undergraduate? You should not be able to do this. It talks about that here. It says the transfer portal's closed and Carter would not be allowed to enter the portal until the winter. However, there have already been 2 players that have done it under unique circumstances, and especially the Jake Retzlaff, who just did it, where he withdrew from BYU and then went to Tulane. He'll be a walk-on, and then they'll pay him. But he was a graduate transfer. He already had his degree. Obviously, Boo does not. However, there's another fella, this Xavier Lucas, there's a lawsuit going on with that. He left Wisconsin to go to Miami, obviously more money, and it was outside the transfer portal. So we don't know how that's going to play out. A judge is going to have to decide. But most likely, it's going to get allowed, which means Boo Carter's will probably be allowed as well, which again, it was only a matter of time till somebody tested this, and both these cases are going to test it. Boo's is just strictly, hey, I'm leaving whenever I want, and I'll go wherever I want, and if you don't like it, I'll just, see you in court, I guess, which is probably how that's going to play out. And as far as tampering is concerned, there's so much tampering going on, folks, it's not even funny. Colorado's probably been tampering with him, in my opinion, from day one. But look, all the teams are tampering all the time, especially the sports agent. He's got a new sports agent. This is just how it is in 2025. And I kept telling you folks that this is, actually, Dalton's the one that's been telling you. Dalton, tell him again.
It'll get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Roadhouse.
It's going to get way worse before. It's going to get way, way worse before it gets better. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the way it's going to be. People are going to do whatever the crap they want, and it's just going to be a matter of whether they keep their word or not. And if they don't feel like keeping their word, they're gone. And the players have all the power now. And I know somebody was telling me, I actually got sent to me multiple times, that the president signed an executive order. That's not going to solve it. It won't. The only way it gets solved is one of 2 ways. Either the Congress, who has the power to give antitrust exemption, the president does not. And I don't talk politics here, by the way, so don't even go there with me. Oh, you Trump, Joe Biden. No, but it takes Congress to do that. The second way, which is the way it's going to finally play out, especially when this crap goes out of control, which it will, you're going to have to do collective bargaining. Danny White, Don Day Plowman's told you it's the only way that this is going to happen. Then you can have contracts. Then you can have representation for the players through a union. You'll have a union head. They'll negotiate, and you'll come with 2 terms. And then you can have portals. You can have contracts that are valid and binding. Right now, none of the contracts are binding except on the schools. Schools seem to have to always honor. The players do not. And the players are 18, 19, 20 years old. And they could care less. They're going to do as they please. And if they get some of these agents out here that have, hey, I'm an agent, you're going to get craziness. And that's what we got right now. We got craziness. And by the way, if you don't think Colorado's licking their chops, this is on Glory, Colorado. Deion Sanders in Colorado could be the beneficiary of more drama at Tennessee. Yeah, drama you're causing.
How dare you?
Tennessee's Boo Carter, All-American, blah, blah, blah. Carter's currently away. New Sentinel, more drama. Talks about Nico Iamaleava stunningly going to UCLA because he wanted to be closer to home. That's why he initially was talking to Miami, then Oregon, then reportedly trying to get in with Ohio State. Yeah, because he wanted to get closer to home and take a 50% pay cut. I call BS on that, which is, look, hey, it worked out that way for him. That's probably what he should say. And on some level, there's some truth to that, but why were you talking to Miami? That's further away from your home. And Oregon's not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump, nor is Ohio State. It says, according to CBS, Deion Sanders in Colorado could be the team that swoops in. They've already swooped in and lands the former four-star. Yeah, they've been after him since high school. It says, despite the transfer portal being closed, Boo could play at Colorado. It said the transfer portal is closed, wouldn't be able to until December, but that doesn't shut the door on Carter because there's already been precedent set. It talks about the Jake Redslev, which we just discussed, and of course the Xavier Lucas dude. It says Carter could carve out a similar path without a scholarship, which doesn't matter. You can just walk on, they can just pay you more money. So what the scholarship doesn't make that much difference. That's probably worth 30, 40 grand, something like that for a year's time in a school. Just pay you 30, 40 grand more. So yeah, there's lots of discussion at Colorado over Boo transfer. It wouldn't be a transfer, just walking on over there, which is, I'm at about 95% chance this happens. That's where I'm at. I think this thing is not a done deal, but it's getting this close to being exactly that, because I don't think there's any communication between Boo Carter, his former agent, who was the connection to Tennessee, and Boo Carter and Tennessee. I think it's completely severed at this point, it appears, and he's probably just trying to get kicked off, because that'll make it even easier for his argument. Well, I got kicked off the team. What was I supposed to do? Not play? I got to earn a living. So I think that's what he's after, is just to totally defy Tennessee. Don't respond to anything they do. Pull a Nico Iamaleava where you don't answer the phone when the coach calls you, which is what it is, folks. You can think of it what you will. I certainly have my opinion, and I've told you what it is. That's BS. You should at least talk to the coach, but that's probably not happening. Anyway, look for this to get uglier, just like Dalton told you. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. It will not cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here's a video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. Told you it's just getting, this is just nuts.
It just doesn't matter. It